Hey everyone, before you go diving into this video here, I do want to give a little warning. Yeah, it's funny because I'm editing the video as we speak right now, and I realize this video, it's pretty big. And there's a lot of information that we're covering in this video. You see, this is the first video in a while of this nature here. And when I was up filming this, the original intent was to answer a lot of pretty common questions that we get. And the finished result of this here is it's a lengthy video. So obviously the timing for a lot of this stuff is necessary, but also let's be real, if you've watched this channel, you know I can be long-winded sometimes. But I think addressing a few of the items that many of you have asked was the priority with this video. So for example, you'll see me opening up talking about a big common question. You know, for years, you guys have seen me out there with my Gladiator, and you haven't seen the Gladiator in some time. So I address that and talk about the whole shopping for replacement, and what led us to what you'll see in this video is a new truck that I had picked up. Many of you have asked, because we talk about the Sonmez London, or the various Sonmez inflatable tents. So many of you have been asking about true setup time. So you're going to see me inflating the 360 with the electric pump and also the manual pump. So I keep that full time in there so you can see what the exact setup time is. Many of you have been asking about, speaking of Sonmez, the yellow and the red one, and so I decided to take out the yellow one. The red one, as I talk in the video here, I've had a leak in this thing since I picked it up from Sonmez, and they have not found a solution to that. And so obviously inflatable tent that doesn't hold air, well, that's kind of problematic and so forth. All right, there's probably a break here someplace, and it's because a fire truck just went by. All right, the next question that we get a lot of, and I think it's important because as we're coming into the winter season here, and many of you know I love to camp in the winter for a variety of reasons, which leads to a lot of questions from you guys. How do I keep warm? So again, in this video, there's a lot of stuff that we're covering in here. The whole purpose of this video was, it's like 5 or 6 stones and, or birds in one stone here. So I address multiple ways how I keep warm. One of the most obvious is diesel or gas heaters and so forth. And over the years, you guys know I've been using, I love my Planner diesel heater. And what I'm going to share with you in this video here is testament to, we're not hinged or shackled to any particular company. Our loyalty is always with you, the end user. If there's a better product out there that just is more efficient or more space saving or just a better product, we're going to lean into that for you folks. So this video here, you're going to see a different heater, which actually, if you watched the last Sonmez video, you probably know where I'm leaning with this, and that is Sparks Overland. So this is my second season with their heaters. I've been testing both their gas and diesel heaters, and they're actually really, really, really good. And so this video, you'll see me talking a little bit more about their gas heater. And I have a video coming up here where there's a big announcement I'm going to be making, but if you put 2 to 2 together, a moment ago I was talking about, our loyalty is with you, the end user. If there's a better product out there, yeah, we're going to lean into that. So in this video, you'll see me talking about the Sparks Overland heater. On top of that, another important way that how I keep warm is with a wood stove. BEREG just came out with a brand new wood stove, and in this video, while ultimately, as you're going to find out, I don't get to use it because of a last-minute fire restriction that came up even with the wood stove, but you'll see me setting it up and playing show and tell. This thing is pretty impressive. Then, of course, many of you ask in terms of my sleeping setup. So I'm going to break down what I sleep on, the quilts that I use, the mattress that I use, down to the cot. And again, that is a very important part of staying warm or just comfortable in winter camping. And one of the parts in this video as well is you're going to hear me talking about cooking. Many of you ask, what do I cook on? Or maybe some of you are very specific even about Tembo Tusk, which is ultimately, as you're going to see here, turns into a 5-year review of the Tembo Tusk Skottle. And so what I'm trying to say here is, as I was editing this, I'm like, boy, I better I better get in front of the camera here, let you know this is a long video. If you don't want to watch it all, hey, I get it. It's a big one. Scroll down below. You're going to see timestamps for particular chapters or topics that I'm covering in this video. So feel free to take a bite here, take a bite there, watch a particular topic, or watch it all. We appreciate your support regardless. But that's it. I just wanted to give you a heads up that, hey, if you want, you can go down below and watch the particular chapters. But if you're interested in staying warm, you're definitely going to want to pay attention to the Sparks Overland section, because these guys really nailed a home run with their heaters that they have. But anyways, guys, that's it. Enjoy the video.
Hey, what's going on, everyone? Okay, we made it out. This is pretty exciting stuff. So many of you have been asking what happened to my Jeep, because it has been a little while, and I shared with you I was researching, looking around, and I was going between, originally I was looking at a 3/4 ton, and then I went to considering a 1/2 ton. And I test drove, rented a lot of vehicles in those classes, and went off where I normally go, and they seemed a little big, so I ended up leaning into a Chevy product here, and this is a 2025 Colorado ZR2. This has been quite a surprise. I was a little reluctant at first with this here because it has a 4-cylinder motor, 2.7 liter turbo, and I have to say, and we're gonna have a dedicated video on that coming around the corner, but it has surprised me. The power, it's okay. The tech inside this truck has absolutely blown me out of the water for a truck of this size in this price point. And one of the things that really attracted me to this here, and again, we'll get into more on that in a later video, is it's ready to go out of the box. It has a lift on it, has a pretty elaborate suspension, and it has MT tires, and it's a fun truck. But anyway, that's that. So we're up in Big Bear here today, Friday. I was like, you know what? I've been meaning to put together a video, kind of a snapshot of what I've been up to. Many of you asked, again, because it's been a minute since I've come out and made a video, what happened to the yellow and the red tent. Well, I was out last weekend with my son and one of his friends and one of my friends, and we went up to Big Bear Labor Day. That was such a zoo. We didn't get to location until 7 o'clock. But anyway, yellow one right here, this has to be my favorite out of all the Sonmez tents that I have. This one by far is my favorite. The 480, the red one, I have a little air leak in it that has been bothering me for some time, and I can't seem to track down the leak on it. And so anyways, once I get that taken care of, you'll see that one out and about more. But anyway, this video right here, this could be a casual video. BEREG Canada just released a new wood stove, and the last couple times, or a few times that we've been up here in Big Bear, it's funny because the weather shows like during the day 80s, and at night it says like 60 degrees, but every single time recently that we've been up here, the nights get down in the 40s. Last time it was 39 degrees. So we're going to play around with this new wood stove, see what that's all about. And then, of course, I'm going to continue testing the Sparks Overland heater, which this is my second season, and I have some surprises coming around the corner that I will be sharing with you. But this thing has really crushed it out of the park in terms of just a lot of things, a lot of features with these heaters that have just, boy, I'm a tough critic when it comes to diesel heaters and so forth. I've been testing these for the last, well, this is the 6th season. And with the exception of my planner, which has been a absolute rock star over the years, everything else has been garbage. But this thing, again, I will have a video coming up here, but this heater has really, really crushed it out of the park. So we're going to play around with that. We have the Howell R1 propane fire pit that I'm going to be playing around with. Actually, there's going to be a dedicated review on that. Maybe I'll shoot that this weekend. I don't know. But that has been a absolutely, wow. When it comes to fire pits and so forth, that is the R1, and it's funny because I have the R4, the big boy, which I'm going to break out during the winter months. But the R1, boy, where is it? Here we go. This thing is, I'm sure you folks have seen it already, and mine has already beginning to get some battle scars on it. This thing, I mean, it's so stinking small, and I think I said it once in a previous video, it's a small axe chop big trees. I absolutely love it. And then last but not least, one of the items that we're going to be talking about here is this ICECO fridge freezer. This thing is absolutely awesome. I'm coming on to 4 months testing that. And I will absolutely probably shoot a dedicated video on that this weekend as well. But that thing has been awesome. Absolutely. I've used EcoFlow, Anchor, and a whole bunch of different fridge companies, again, over the years. This was my first ICECO, and this thing is absolutely a rock star. Anyways, this is gonna be a mashup of a video here. We have the Skottle, which of course I'm going to shoot a 5-year review on that. I absolutely love that. My favorite out of all the cooking accessories, and I'm just jibber jabbering right now, so if you want to skip this, feel free to, you know, hit the little, you know, skipping thing down below. I'm just jibber jabbering, kind of recalling a lot of the questions that I get. You know, one of those is, what do I cook when I go heading out? Well, it really depends. I've gotten lazy over the years. I love my my jet boil and my peak refuel and mountain house meals and so forth. But when I do cook, well, it's all about the Skottle, because the size, the convenience, what you can do on it is, it's awesome. And so anyways, that is, speaking of something with battle scars, that thing has gotten beat the heck up. And you know what? With the exception of my lid, there's a plastic handle on the top of it. And it was funny, I was just telling somebody about this the other, or last week. That hasn't been broken for some time because I think I dropped something on top of it. And the owner over with a Tembo Tusk, Jerry, awesome guy over there, he gave me a new handle 2 years ago, and I was chuckling. I'm like, you know what? I have the new handle. I have not bothered to put it on. I think it adds character the way it is. But at any rate, geez, I figure maybe it's time to go get the rest of the camp set up. So anyways, I thought I'd turn on the camera, and hey, what do you think? You know, I'm gonna play show and tell with this just a little bit here. So what do you think? The Jeep or the Chevy Colorado? I think from a styling standpoint, out of the gate, again, I've done nothing to this thing, and I don't know, I may put some Boss lights on it. I'm not sure what all I'm going to do, because it really is a capable vehicle. And I will put the dealership where I got this, Antelope Chevrolet, down below. Those guys absolutely kicked tail and helped me make my final decision, giving me the answers that I needed on the truck, and then ultimately putting together a great deal that made it tough for me to go any other direction. But I'll put their information down below. I'm gonna get camp set up here, and the whole idea of coming up here was I was gonna get up set up pretty early and just finish my work day, my work week out in nature. All right, I'm gonna get the rest of this set up now. All right, so let's talk about when it's just by myself, how I prefer to, my go-to sleeping setup. Well, I have the ICECO. This thing right here is by Buyer of Maine. Okay, first off, as you'll see here, this thing is crazy simple to set up. Boom. That is, that over here. It's crazy fast to set up, but here's, now this is comfortable on its own, but I've played around with so many different variations. Just like when I'm out with my son, we have the air mattress, and then I take two of these Hess foamy mattresses and I lay that on top of the air mattress, and that makes crazy comfortable night's sleep. Now with this, I put a single Hess mattress on here, and it is, I kid you not, the most insane sleep you'll ever get. Oh my goodness, because the cot is already leaning in like this. Oop, the tent's moving the camera a little bit. Must have been the wind. Okay. Anyway, we have the Hess pillow. Now this is
forget the size. I have two of these here. One is, I forget which is which. One's the camp one, which is the small one, which is my original one. My son uses that one, and now I love these things so much, I picked up the larger one, and that is comfy. Now for blankets, this is my second season with the Aeronaut quilt. Now this year, I picked up their green one. I think they call it the olive one. These things are absolutely so darn warm. I'm just going to break out one right now. But these are, you have these little bungees on the side, which I use it when we're, it's funny. Last weekend when we were up at the last camping spot, we turned out we were on a little bit of an incline, and so I used the bungees to bungee because they kept sliding off the bed, and with my son squirming around all the time, I used the bungees to keep it up on the top. But these are, not only do they pack up small, but they are also incredibly warm. I'm going to hide everything underneath there.
Okay, here is the Sparks Overland. This is their gas heater. Now they have two different types of heaters there. Of course, they have the diesel and then they have the gas one. And this is my second season testing this one, as I previously mentioned as well. So these guys, again, have done an extraordinary job. Now this is actually their big unit. They have recently came out with a much smaller unit, which I'll be covering here in some subsequent videos. But anyways, as I mentioned earlier, the last handful of times up here, the evenings have been getting down into the 40s, and the last time it was in the 30s. So it's a good time to start dusting off the BEREG wood stove, the new one that just came in. And of course, I'm going to continue testing the Sparks Overland diesel heater here. Geez, you know, it's so easy for me to call it a diesel heater. This is the gasoline heater, and so, but this thing has been an absolute rock star. So as you can see here, it comes in this stainless steel, or I'm sorry, aluminum case, and I mean, it looks fantastic. You have a knob over here, that a cap. And these guys use a lot of marine grade components on here. This cap over here, which is going to cover the hot air, cover the hot air going out. This thing is, I mean, it has some weight to it. And one of the cool things here is they have this quick fitting here that allows you to pop this on pretty darn quick. And boom, 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 boom. It is that easy. Make sure, I'm gonna put that right there. We have our cable here, which I'm gonna run inside, and you have your thermostat here and your controller for that. And they send it with a little package of bunch of different goodies, and I'm just going to keep that stuff right here. But boy, this thing is, that's what I was talking about in one of my earlier videos. One thing I really love about this thing is this, oh, you know what, I'm going to have to bring the camera over here so you can see that. Hold on. All right, so here is, this is the gas cap with this. This thing is absolutely a unit on its own here. So this is one of my biggest pet peeves with heaters. Even my planner, the gas cap or the fuel cap always leaks. And so when you're driving around, especially on off-road trails and so forth, diesel, you know, with my planner, I would have to put duct tape or Gorilla Tape on the top of it, and then sometimes even put the whole unit inside of a bag to prevent the fuel from getting out and making a mess, which it has happened before. But this right here, nothing leaks out of this. But yeah, this is now again, this is the gas version, and this is their larger box. And so, I mean, it's a little beat up. I've beaten the hell out of this thing. Again, this is the second season with it and so forth. But this thing is, boy, an absolute incredible heater. Now, I just realized I didn't bring all the fittings, so I have a box in my storage unit that has the little vent thing that would normally go in there. I just realized I didn't bring that up with me. Okay, but anyways, that pops into the tent. And later on this evening, I'm going to fire this thing up, and that will take off any sort of chill that may be inside of the tent. Or actually, I'll probably run the BEREG fire stove or wood stove first, and then, like I always do, just run the heater or the diesel. Geez, I keep calling it a diesel heater. The gas heater, probably medium through the night, and that's going to keep the temp probably right in the 60s and so forth. But anyways, thought I'd show you the setup of that. And yeah, that's it's funny because I'm testing a couple of their heaters, and so I have to label it gas, so I know which one gas versus diesel, so I know which one I'm taking out and so forth. And we have the Sparks Overland. This is the gas heater. This is my, speaking of second season, this is my second season. We'll have a video coming out on that here shortly. This is an absolute rock star. This thing saved my bacon last night because the BEREG wood stove, which again you'll see in a second when I get inside there, that's a brand new BEREG wood stove. I was so excited to get up here and test it out, and I noticed there was a lot of fire rangers driving around when I first got here, and it turns out there was an incident, and I called the fire department before firing that thing up, no pun intended, and just wanted to check to see if it's okay to use a wood stove. And they shared with me that they had a fire up here, something that happened up here. So no wood stoves yet. And it got down to 35 degrees last night. And so the Sparks Overland, the gas heater, now they have a diesel heater and they have a gas heater. They both function quite the same. And when you crack them open, they kind of look the same as well. Actually, their diesel ones have yellow fittings in it and so forth. But that kept the tent nice and comfortable throughout the night. So glad I brought that along. Okay, we're gonna have a brief intermission here so I can gripe about one of my biggest pet peeves when it comes to getting out and camping and being out in nature and so forth. Because I mean, look at this. This is so beautiful out here. So I'm out walking around and just exploring a little bit, and then I come across something like this. So there is toilet paper all scattered all through here and so forth. I've noticed since COVID, there's been a lot more of these pristine locations that before most of your experienced overlanders or people that are getting out, they understand, pack out what you pack in. And so leave no trace. And some of my favorite spots, man, they are, from trash. I mean, this right here is just toilet paper. But this is still, it looks horrible when you look at this beautiful backdrop right here. And then you see a graveyard of toilet paper. I mean, it takes away. It's a shame that people can't, it takes you 5 seconds to dig a hole and then bury it and so forth, and nobody wants to be looking at that. So if you're one of those people that go take care of your business, I get it, nature calls, but dig a hole. It takes 5 seconds, maybe a little bit more, but you get the point. It doesn't take long to dig a darn hole. Or invest in if you're getting out camping often, which you should get one anyway, especially if you're in some of these remote camping spots where there are no bathrooms. Invest in a privacy tent, invest in a little toilet chair thing, and you can do your business in there. Again, pack out what you brought in. So therefore, these places remain open for us. A couple years ago, one of my favorite locations in Alabama Hills was shut down. Why? Because people were leaving so much trash there. I mean, come on. This is okay. That's looks like a tampon or something that something got a hold of there, and that's nasty as all heck. So that's my gripe session there. I was walking around and I came across that and had to get in front of camera here and say, come on, people, wise up. If you're one of those people, just stop it. Dig a hole and keep nature the way that it was when you went in there. That's it. Okay, here is the BEREG. This is BEREG's new wood stove. This thing is quite the work of art right here. So all nice and shiny right now. So this would be first time setting this thing up here. And this is their medium, incidentally. Oh, this is cool. They include the tie downs for the chimney, the metal, which I've not, the other fireplace, or the wood stoves that we've tested out and so forth, didn't have these. That's a nice little touch right there. And let's see here. Okay, so the legs are, oh, nice. Okay. They just pop out into place. That is cool. I like that. Nice and easy. One of the earlier wood stoves that we tested and so forth, you had to pop the legs in, which is not a big deal, but it was always an extra step that was a little bit of a pain in the rear. And of course, with the Sonmez tents, you have your stove jack area right here. That's right, it goes up here. You know, I need to open that up from outside. And I believe they come with a fire protectant mat to put this thing on. Actually, I'll move this out of the way and put that down on the ground. Boom. That is awesome. Okay. Now, all right, let's see here. So we're gonna plop into that. You know what? I need an elbow. Okay, I have an elbow. Hold on. Good thing I came prepared. Okay, so if you pick up one of these and you have one of these tents here where it goes out through the side, you're going to need yourself an elbow. And this should work here, hopefully. There we go. Boom, 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 boom. Okay, so this, we might need to get a little tricky with this here, because I normally have one that has a more of a 45 degree. Oh, this is bent a little bit. Okay, let's do this here. There we go. That should, let's do this here. There. That should work. Boom, boom, boom. Awesome. Okay, let's move this back just a little bit there. Cool. Now we go outside and put the rest of this up. Come on, let's go. So you have two different ways that you can. Come on. Okay. So that you can use this. You have these little notches here, and you'll see there's right on the bottom here. There's a couple slits there. Pop that in there, and I'm guessing right on the top there. There we go. And you just slide both over. And now on both sides, you have extra space that works for, like, you just want to keep something warm that you've heated up. Down below that is a glass. Now here's something different. So you can, let me put that back in there the other way. So you can pull them off the top, and you can go the opposite direction, and you have more of a visible side of the fire with the glass there. And they do come with this little stencil metal thing with some trees and some antelope and some deer or something like that. I left it home. I just like the glass there. But isn't that cool? So you have options. You can go one way or another. And this is a nice little touch. They give you a little poker for inside the fire. I'm going to hide that over there. This is a really well built. Let me give you a closer view of this here. They did a great job on this. And we're going to fire that up a few hours after the sun goes down. But that looks fantastic. Nice sturdy handle, nice door, and you can get a feel for the construction inside this thing there. And again, this side right here, that's another glass window there. Oops, excuse me. Another glass window. And yeah, quite a lot of detail. Boom! Well, we're going to stay warm this evening. Again, last time I went out, it wasn't so bad. Well, you know, actually inside the tent, it was 44 degrees, so it was a little chilly because I didn't bring any heaters up. So, at any rate, if it does dip down cool this evening, as it has the last handful of times, yeah, I'm covered this time. So, I think I'm going to get the Skottle set up and start thinking about dinner. Okay. So now I'm going to show you how quickly and easy it is to set up a Skottle. As I was talking earlier, so this is 5 or 6 years old. This was given to me for a birthday gift a number of years back. The only thing that I've ever had wrong go with mine is this handle. As I've joked around before, the owner of Tembo Tusk gave me a new handle years ago, actually a couple years ago, and I've not replaced it. I think this adds a little character. It was a little loose there, but yeah, it's been beat up quite a bit. So anyways, there's the top, and we have a new table I'm going to show you guys here momentarily as well. So it comes in this heavy duty case, and what I like to do is, before I take it out of the case, I put the legs together inside of it. It just makes getting it out a little bit easier. And so you have these little push pin little things here. You pop it in there, pull it down. You have 2 different settings here. I always go with the tall one. All you have to do is just kind of fidget around with it until you see it come through the, boom, like that. Tighten the leg up. I'm going to plop that into one of these. You have a little wing nut down on the bottom there that you tighten it up, and I'm just going to do this for the other legs here, and you'll see how quickly and easily the Skottle is to get set up. So while I'm doing this, I will chat with you a little bit. So this is a long-term review of the Skottle. I have used this religiously over the course of the last handful of years. This has been through quite a number of campouts and so forth, and it is actually held up fantastic. Okay, so you can run this off of a small 1-pounder like this, or you can use another, let's see if I can find it here. Okay, something like this, which I brought the wrong one. This is not the one for this, but you can run like a 20 or 10 or whatever pound tank you want with it. All right, so we're just gonna flip it over like that, and my case is a little tight on here, so you just have to work it off there. And I think their new cases are a little bit bigger. See, this is one of their older ones, and it just barely fits over it and so forth, but that's it, friends. Oh, and of course we got to screw the bottom on. And I guess I could have done that when it was upside down, which is what I usually do. So a few things about this. So I have one of their wing guards on here. You just kind of center this right in the middle. So this has a push start, which is pretty convenient. Turn the gas on. It is that easy. All right, and one thing I'm going to show here. Now, I have shared with you guys in the past, here is one of the leg tables, which I didn't put it on this time here, but that would go on one of the legs. Actually, you know what? I will put that on. Let's, which one has, okay, so I have it right over here. So let's, this actually works pretty well. It's a compression fit. So you just undo one of your legs. And I'm gonna pull you up here. Let's see if I can do this with one hand without everything come crumbling down on me here. There we go. Put that there, put it in there. There we go. Tighten that back up. And boom. So this works out to be a convenient little side table, but they came out with this center table, and you have a scraper, you have a spatula, and you have your coating to keep everything all nice and fantastic. And this is a compression fit. So this is my first time setting it up, so don't judge, but as I understand, you put that in above the legs here, or the little knuckles right here, and you twist it. And hey, that's pretty cool. Okay, so let's see. We go this way with it. That is pretty darn cool. So now you have a lot more space for your utensils or putting food down or this or that. How cool is that? Man, I love this thing. Again, this is great for stir fry, burgers, hot dogs, virtually. You go to any of the Overland Expos and so forth, and this is between the tailgate or tire table. It's funny, I was just talking to somebody about this a couple weeks ago. There are two items that are ubiquitous in overlanding expos and so forth, where you see kind of the common fibers amongst campers and overlanders and so forth. The tailgate or tire table and the Tembo Tusk Skottle. Everybody loves this thing because it packs up small, it's convenient, and there's so many different, holy smokes, there is a big moon over there. I will bring the camera over there, but I'm sure this camera is gonna make the moon look like a little dot there, but that's cool. I'll show you that in a minute. But anyways, there's so much utility that you can use this for. Making eggs, hash browns, bacon in the morning. It is absolutely, it is fantastic. And talking about that, it's funny, I brought eggs with me here, and I meant to swing by and grab some potatoes, and of course I didn't. But I have some freeze-dried meals that I'm pretty sure we can whip up something. But I think we're gonna cook some orange chicken on here momentarily, and that is gonna be really fantastic. But anyway, the Skottle, this thing is, man, it is absolutely a overlander's best friend when you're out cooking and so forth. All right, so the final verdict after 5 years of owning a Tembo Tusk Skottle, well, it's a big enthusiastic thumbs up. And let me share with you why. You know, look, you have an 18-inch cooking surface here. You have a 10,000 BTU, and this is when, you know, of course, wind resistant burner underneath here. You have the flexibility of either running 1 pound tanks, or with the optional hose, you can move over to something like a 20-pound tank, and the adjustable legs. So you can go either 29 inches or 36 inches off the ground, which gives you a lot. Again, there's a lot of flexibility, if I can talk, that has been baked into this. Now, of course, you have this was their first little leg extension table, and I'm sure I'm screwing up the name of it, that they launched a few years back, and I love it. It works really, really well. The new addition, which I just picked up last week, of course, is the underbelly table, and again, I'm sure I'm screwing up the actual name of this thing, but that I like this as well. And that's just sitting in there with a compression fit. And just know, like, when you are cleaning your unit, and if you clean it like I do, you flip it forward, you know, you want to take this off ahead of time, because that will come falling off there when you tip it sideways and so forth. But from the word that you're going to hear me echoing quite a bit about the Tempo Test Skottle is you get a lot of utility out of it. Many of the other, you know, cooking apparatuses out there, or stoves or this or that, they're one-trick ponies. Now, granted, you could put griddles on top of them, but it's just additional hardware that you have to bring out with you. For a all-in-one unit, all of this stuff, now it's a little tight fitting in my bag that I have. My bag is a little tight, but there are newer bags that they sell these things with. All of this stuff, including my, I look, every time I look at this top here, this top has been through some, and as I mentioned previously, the owner gave me a new handle 2 years ago, and I've just kept this one on here. And so, but you can see this thing's been beat up. But all of this can fit inside the bag that it comes with. And from a space standpoint, when you're talking about your biggest commodity in your camping, overlanding setup and so forth, it's always space. So the fact that this packs up so small, I can't recall what the weight of this thing is. I'll put it on the screen here. But anyways, it's manageable. It's just something that punches way out of its weight class. So after 5 years, big enthusiastic thumbs up. What I'll do is I'll put some links down below. This grill has shown me there is no limitations to what you can cook on this thing. I've cooked burgers, hot dogs, steaks. I've made curry. I've made shrimp gumbo. I've made so much on here. I've made pasta on here. It's a little tricky, but it can be done. Breakfast, this thing was made for eggs, bacon, and in getting some hash browns the way that you want it. I absolutely love the versatility of this cooker. Finally, what I'll do is I'm going to put some links down below. So if you want to pick up one of these Skottles yourself, I'll put links down below. I would recommend their Ultimate Kit. Their Ultimate Kit is going to get you basically everything in the kitchen sink. And that's it, friends. I'm going to be shutting off the cameras, and I will see you in the next video.